So visual effects should be, something that gives you a larger landscape just to tell the story.
Yeah, I mean it's a tool. It's a tool for filmmakers, and really understanding how to use it and what the best and the smartest way to do it is, because it encompasses various different areas of film production. And what I mean by that is you could work very closely with the cinematographer, and you could tell him that, okay, your shot's going to start here, we're live till this point, I'm going to pick it up, we're going to go digital, and we're going to be at this point, and we're going to come back to a live shot. So you could have a shot which looks like one shot, but it's made up of 3 or 4 different takes with CG in between to help you go seamlessly from shot to shot. So that's one way of doing sort of what's called invisible effects, where people don't even know you have visual effects going on. That is a very productive and cost-effective way of doing visual effects. And you'll see a lot of big action sequences in movies and all that tend to employ this. And then on the other hand, you will have the obvious effects, which are your big creatures or big waves or things happening, destruction, which was not shot. For instance, a dinosaur running around, that it is a visual effects thing. And how convincing that is in its behavior, in its attitude, in its animation, in its weight, in its skin, in its simulation for muscles and jiggle and just about everything, and its shading. So India also needs to start pushing in those areas where stories needs to start supporting the use of complex creatures in films, and how these are set up, how they're shot, what needs to be done. Also makeup. There's a lot of crossover between makeup, appliances, and visual effects. And today look at a visual effects film like Benjamin Button, which I think was absolutely brilliant work that Digital Domain did. The first 52 minutes of that film is all CG face, and besides tracking and compositing, there is some very, very complex animation, facial mocap, and shading going on there.
Do you think in India studios still stress on the quantity of shots rather than the detailing, the quality or the time spent on the shots?
From what I hear, I know that a lot of movies have a lot of shots here, and they come in this short duration, and that's really not our focus. I mean, we believe that if we can't deliver quality, then we shouldn't be in the business. Now, can you scale that quality, and you can deliver quality at that consistent quality at a large quality? That is where we would like to go. We've reached that point in animation. That's where we'd like to go for visual effects also, where we could do 300 big creature shots. But there needs to be a right project that drives it. And so once we've got the right thing, that's where we would want to sort of go. But from what I hear, yeah, I mean, it seems like it is pretty competitive out there. It is also the model is sort of not very clearly defined, because visual effects houses are also in DI, are also in the business of gear, equipment, lending, and so deals are done. Deals are done where we're only a visual effects house. If somebody comes in here, they're only coming here for our talent and our quality, and it has nothing to do with the deal that we could give them in DI, and therefore make visual effects more attractive.
So there's this culture followed by probably the studios, which is more, if you say that we're just going to do 300 shots for the film, they're going to be the best shots. Rather than that, they would prefer taking 1,000 shots in.
Right. I'll give you a case, an example, Delhi 6, which the first time that I met Rakesh Mehra, and we sort of got along well, and I really like Rakesh, and I think we've sort of reached a point where we would love to work with each other again, and we really enjoyed working with each other. And when it came down to costs and what the cost would be, he said, look, I want you to do my main song sequence, which I think is the most complex work, and the other stuff, would you help supervise or outsource? And we said no, because it would take too much of our time. So we did about 40 to 50 shots, which were sort of all the New York related thing of recreating of Times Square and all, but everything else was done by another company. And well, we also did a few shots of monkeys, CG monkeys, and all in the film. But that was an example of where we collectively decided with the director that that made most sense, because what he could afford us for, and what, it's not to say that we're expensive or more expensive than other people, but clearly there was a limitation of budget, and we were willing to do X amount of work within that budget. And so we had a lot of fun working on that, and I think he's very happy with what he got, and we're very happy with what we delivered.
I've seen that song, definitely well done. Now, as you said, the approach that Prana takes, with visual effects, what is the additional approach that you've had taking visual effects to another level? And is it the approach that we lack here, the studios in India, the main studios, that drive visual effects?
Well, I don't know if I could really honestly answer that question, but my focus has really been on what are the key areas that a studio, the visual effects studio, needs to be able to do well. And there isn't just one area. And so that's what we've been sort of concentrating on. And we've been building expertise across the studio in fur, rendering of fur, shading, rigging, creature-based stuff, natural phenomena like water, smoke, matte paintings, 3D matte paintings, 2D matte paintings. Delhi 6 is a classic example of image-based photogrammetry techniques. And so things that that use visual effects intelligently. For example, there's nothing really that's overtly 3D in Delhi 6 Times Square sequence.
Yeah.
And they'll probably show you some stuff, and that'll give you an idea, because most people don't realize till they see the
breakdowns, yes,
in terms of how it was kind of done. But so it's not like I have something that I know that nobody else knows. It's just that what I feel are essential points of, and to some extent, to a large extent, all of us at Prana sort of know the kind of movies we would like to do, and we therefore know what the focus of the studio should be, and eventually that is the goal that we have. So